From the center of the galaxy, this is ForceCenter, show about Star Wars, pop culture, and the ultimate adventure, life itself, and answering questions. I'm Ken Napzok.
And I'm Jennifer Landa.
And this is our Star Wars questions episode. We have taken questions from our patron supporters. We got 2 today, and we are going to have fun answering those questions. We want to also acknowledge people who have supported us on Blue Sky as Blue Sky exploded over last week. We are on there. You can follow us there. And I think we're going to do a week where we take some questions from Blue Sky to not I want to say reward, Jen, but to just tip a cap to the people that have followed us there, you know?
I know. I'm so excited to see my feed suddenly much more vibrant and alive. I had not been on it for a while, but it's neat. It's neat.
It's neat. I like. No, it's been nice. It's been inspiring for me this week to feel safe to say some things that in the past, you just wouldn't. It wouldn't be worth the time to post on the other site or even some of the other sites. But it's been good, and yeah, ForceCenter's there. A lot of you jumped on, so look for that. Follow us there and ask us a question. Before we get to today's question and episodes, we want to remind you that today's podcast is, of course, brought to you by Audible. Get a free audiobook download by going to audibletrial.com/ForceCenter. Oh, and you get a 10-day free trial. I messed up the copy I've been reading for 10 years. Over 180,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. Today, we are recommending the book, one of our favorites here, Rebel Rising by Beth Revis. Want to learn how to be a rebel? Here's one of the books that will help you. Great book, one of our favorites here. Download your free audiobook today by going to audibletrial.com/ForceCenter. Again, that's audibletrial.com/ForceCenter for your free audio book. That is that A. You have the Ask A, Jen.
That's right. We had a goal on Patreon of reaching 415 paid patrons, which we met. We have a live stream locked in. We are working on dates and what we're going to do, but it's going to be a good time. So now we have a new goal of 420. Now listen, guys, 420 has a specific connotation. We will not be having that kind of live stream. I mean, maybe I'll have just regular brownies. How about that?
Right. You have regular brownies.
Brownies.
Like I've said, I'm still a good whittled church boy at heart, and I haven't done any of the devil's lettuce, but I do drink a lot of whiskey, and that might be worse. So maybe I'll do that. Maybe that'll be the alternate 420 live stream.
That's
podcast.
right. That's right. But we're so thankful to all of you who have joined us over on Patreon. And also, if you're a patron, you get to join our Discord, which is a lot of fun. Great conversations, news breaking on there as well. So thank you all for joining us there.
Absolutely. Appreciate that. We're going to get to some Star Wars questions. We should acknowledge one of the reasons we are trying to lock in a date for the 4:15 private live stream is Joseph Scrimshaw, of course, is out for probably the next 3 weeks to a month as he starts, shoots, and then finishes his feature film, or at least finishes the actual shooting of it. The post-production will take a bit, of course, as we know. But he is out in Minnesota shooting this film, so we tip a cap to him and wish him well in that process. But also, we'll drop a link down below. You can support the film still as well as he makes it. And I think in these times, art and media with themes and points and lessons, I think are important. In his film, Dead Media, will have that there. So that's why Joseph's not here today. But Jennifer, you're here today. No life adventures needed, but I just want to check in. You ready for questions? How you doing?
I am better today. I'm happy to be talking about something fun. I think that at this time, hope is more important than ever. And, I need distractions as well. That's going to help us through every day because we're going to need it.
And you shared on Instagram a great piece about hope isn't necessarily I'm paraphrasing, a beautiful dove in the sky. It's sometimes a gnarly, prickly little beast in an alley.
That's right.
Great little beast.
Claws,
well, let's do that.
And fangs.
Claws and fangs. That's
right.
hope. But hope's also found in Star Wars and found with our characters we love here. So let's get to our first question. This episode we're taking from Patreon. Now, last week, we answered a question about who we think might show up in the Skeleton Crew. Jen, I don't remember all of our answers to you, but we had a lot of fun just going wild with some guesses. And a lot of people loved your idea of like maybe Gungans, just a Gungan might show up.
Oh, dare to dream. Yes.
Dare to dream. I, like Transformers, the movie taught me, dare to be stupid sometimes. All right. Robert Meadows has a question in a similar arena, but follow me here, Jen. Greetings all, Robert writes. I have a bit of a non-serious question, but Robert, we're going to take it Very serious. We know Skeleton Crew is heavily inspired by Amblin films like Goonies and E.T. My question is, what are the chances we get an appearance from that E.T. species? We know that species is canon thanks to their cameo in The Phantom Menace, so they're in the galaxy. Would you want to see that species pop up, or would that be way too on the nose? I personally wouldn't mind a small background appearance, says Robert, but anything more than that might take me out of the show. So, Robert's given a good answer to his own question there that goes a lot of different spots. Jen, I'm gonna pitch it to you because I think this is a fun question. It's complicated answers.
It is complicated. I could absolutely see an ET family walking around in the background, right? That to me is like the easiest thing, right? Fun. Everyone's like, oh, ET family, cute.
But only if the mother is dressed like ET when he's in Gertie's closet and comes out all kind of disguised
with the blonde wig and the hat.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it. That would be that'd be top tier. But okay, that's pretty bold because I was gonna say they could go really bold and have an ET like character that looks so strikingly similar to ET, but then they're going to gaslight us just like they did with Neil and be like, oh, you guys know that's not an ET species. That's a blah, blah, blah species. Yeah. But that would be amazing if like we got an actual scene with an ET like character.
And that's why I say it's complicated. I think number one, it was an Easter egg in the true sense of the word Easter egg. I know Easter eggs become a different word and I accept it, like, because our friend Alex, he and Molly have a channel that's based a lot about explaining things in the background. And we Easter eggs, I've always said, was secret little things that you didn't fully see. The Millennium Falcon flying in Revenge of the Sith, I think, an Easter egg more than there's the Falcon. Though it serves that purpose in Star Wars as the Falcon was there, who was piloting it. The ETs showing up in the Phantom Menace are that for me. It's completely a Easter egg. It's completely this ongoing, as you know, Jen, more than anyone, all of your history deep dives on Star Wars in that era, like it's Spielberg and Lucas having fun, tipping the cap to each other in all their movies. Right. R2 and 3PO showing up in hieroglyphics and Indiana Jones. It goes on and on and on. A lot of people know them. So it starts in a weird space. I want to jump actually to that. Let's go back to 1999, Jen, or whenever we heard about it. I can't remember when I first heard about it. Some people saw it in theaters, I remember, and you had to go back to the theater and see it. When you first heard, ETs are in Phantom Menace, what was your reaction?
I couldn't believe it, but I believed my eyes. And I was like, that sure looks like ET.
Right.
But the fact that it's confirmed, right? It's like, is there an actual like Wikipedia entry for ET?
I'll look that up about it specific, but I'm trying to figure out, again, pre-internet days, right. Unless someone said it on Friendster in 2002, it might have been a Star Wars Insider, just word of mouth, people seeing it. I'm going to look that up. I don't even know what to type in on Wikipedia. E.T.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I saw it in the theater and I was like, that looks like an E.T., but maybe I'm crazy because E.T. is one of my favorite movies of all time. But I love that George Lucas and Steven Spielberg have that friendship, that kind of, I don't know, it's love for each other. It's just really, it's really special.
It is. No, it is. It is. And I'm in the middle of watching that John Williams doc right now. And you can see, Johnny Williams is included in that. By the way, one of my favorite things is we're going everywhere in conversations today, Jenna, and I think that's okay. One of my favorite things of Steven Spielberg is he's got the classic old Hollywood. Instead of saying Robert Altman, he goes, well, it's a Bob Altman picture. It's my favorite thing. And when he said, every time they all say Johnny, I giggle. By the way, I want to clarify because, I looked it up just to get to Wikipedia. The Asogians, we keep saying ET species because I think growing up in the 80s, we didn't know his species.
No.
But now, Asogians, Asogians, were paddle-footed, large-eyed, sentient indigenous to Brodo Asogi. During the last decade of the Galactic Republic, the Asogians were represented in the Galactic Center by Senator Greblips and a trio of aides. So I'm going to click on God bless you. And this might be Legends too. We're going to Legends and canon. Don't worry, folks, about the details. But yeah, all right. So anyways, I went all over the place there, Jen.
Okay.
But would it take you out of the show?
No.
But that could be in a fun way or a bad way. No?
I don't think so. I mean, I don't want to say it took me out of Phantom Menace,
Right.
but knowing that detail, knowing
Mm-hmm.
that they are canon or legends or whatever, I
That they're
mean,
there. Yeah.
that they're there. So then why not? But see, here's the thing. Okay, back in 99, people were like, wow, that's cool.
Mm.
2024, how are people going to react? Are they
Mm.
going to be like, oh, that's cool? Or are they going to be like, ugh,
There you
ugh?
go. Therein lies the rub. There's the problem. That is where my mind goes. And I'm not just saying I'm going to have discourse dictate what I feel about something. I'll answer directly. I think it would be fun. And I think a show like Skeleton Crew would be the place to do it, much like some of the appearances we talked about last week. This is kind of the place to do it. It's a show that's supposed to be fun. It is Goonies in space. It is Amblin, all those things we're hearing. We'll see how it actually plays out. But we got pirates. We got all these things. We got callbacks. We got Ortolans and not Ortolans. We've got Teak or a Teak showing up.
Yes.
It would be the place to do it, and I don't want to say get away with it, but it would be less impactful. I think if we go to the Mando and Grogu movie and we have a flashback and Kelleran Beck grabs Grogu, as we've seen, heads back to Naboo and hands Grogu over to Jar Jar Binks, which is what I want to happen. And then Jar Jar takes it to this senator or ET. Then it might, I don't know, maybe that's a bridge too far, and maybe that's really impactful, and maybe people might have an issue with it. But if the kids and Jod and Nawood are out in the galaxy and they turn the corner and there's an ET and a Sogian that they actually speak with and interact with, I think would be taken a little less serious.
Yeah.
Less serious than we're even dealing with this issue. But I still think you'd have a large portion of the internet upset with it.
You do? I want to believe.
I want to believe.
I want to believe because I know that if my kids saw that, they'd be so happy. I mean, they don't have as much love for ET as obviously I did, but like I have little ET things around, and my oldest has watched the movie, and I think there's a lot of kids that know just like culturally who ET is and what ET represents, and it might be a fun little nod. You're right. People are going to hate it.
but I don't want that to dictate, right? And I don't think that it would dictate the creators. I don't think. I mean, they're bringing in a Teak, which is less known.
Yeah.
But it's already like, hey, from those weird Ewok TV movies that we all made fun of growing up or something like that, they're going right at it. So I think this is what they should do. Now, do I think it's going to happen? I think the answer is no.
Yeah.
Unless it's a true Easter egg in the back. But it'd be fun. But look, you're an E.T. fan. E.T.'s one of the first movies I saw in the theater. So it means a lot. In fact, recently, my friend Paul Preston and Adam Witt from the Movie Guys. Paul Preston has a movie tour company here in LA. I highly recommend it. It's fun. It's very personal. It's just Paul taking you around. We went up to the E.T. house that I had never been to in my years in LA. It's great. And it's obviously a more developed area than it was when they shot. And it's a little ways outside LA. It's the same cul-de-sac. It's the house. It's the view. It was wonderful. It was inspiring. And that is actually, I took a picture with, of course, Reese's Pieces, where E.T. and Yoda, or a kid dressed as Yoda, met in the movie. And through that door, Jen, we have a theory. What do you think of that theory, that is E.T. recognizing Yoda?
I always took it that E.T. is believing, not like this specifically the Yoda species, or that it is Yoda, right? But just like, oh, this kind of looks like my kind. Like,
yes.
Right? That's kind of how I took it.
Game recognizes game. How about that? But
Exactly. Like, oh, we are one and the same, potentially.
Potentially.
But yeah, but the whole, if actually Yoda specifically, now that might be a bridge too far for me. I don't know.
Really? Yeah. I'm with you on it. I think for decades, we've taken it as that. Number one, another reference. Also, again, in the John Williams doc, I'm so excited I'm finally watching. A lot of our ForceCenter listeners are like, yeah, we told you to watch it when it came out 2 weeks ago. There's a great scene of Spielberg and Johnny Williams talking about that theme showing up, Yoda's theme being there and being a little Easter egg within the score, and just a fun moment. So it's always been a fun moment for me. When I heard that theory, I was so intrigued by it, because even though I knew that we had, ETs, Sogians were in Phantom Menace. I had guys. It's just fun. It's fun. It's just fun. Then that theory kind of emerges. I thought, oh God, that could be the pathway to do this. Not that I even want it. So I almost became afraid of the theory, Jen.
It's too powerful.
Too real.
I need to watch that doc.
I highly recommend it. Maybe we'll do a breakdown of that. There's so much stuff in there. All right, so our official, we're coming down to we got to put it here. I think it won't happen. What say you? What say ye? Do you think it will happen in any way, shape, or form in Skeleton Crew?
Okay. I think. Okay, why not? I think it can't. I think it's going to happen, and I think it's going to be a crowd scene of some sort, and we'll see it. And some person is going to freeze frame that quick shot. We're going to red circle around it, and be like, "There's the ET family." That's my prediction. Yeah.
Brian Ward's gonna have to make some thumbnails of a lot of red arrows pointing at an Ahsogan. Okay, let's even break this down. I've been watching a lot of football. My Miami Dolphins got a big win this week in LA on Monday Night Football. Let's put this in terms of betting. If I think if you're putting money down, the bet is: does E.T., the character we know from E.T., the Extra-Terrestrial, does E.T. show up in Skeleton Crew? That's the bet. Or you can take take the cover, take the points. It's not ET, but it is, as you say, the species, and that's like your team lost, but they covered. To go real deep into betting, not too deep, just general. That's bet. I am going to say no. I'm putting no ETs at all. It sounds like, Jen, I'm locking into your bet here that you're saying we're going to cover. We're going to cover the point spread. That it's not ET the character, but it's ET the Ahsogian species.
100%, because I think that if we think about the actual design of the character, it makes it much trickier to match what we all know is the true canon ET from the ET movie, right? They can fudge with it a little bit more in the design, and so they can be like, no, it's just a species. It's not the ET that you know.
Okay.
I'm covering. That. Is that what they say?
You take, yeah. You got to, E.T. the character is favored by 3 points there. Let's see that. But what you're saying is we'll get within the 3 points even if he loses. So all right, cool. That's our bet. That's that thought. You see, I told you, Robert, we're going to take it real serious here.
Yeah,
serious. We did. That's our answer. Of course, we want to know. So if you're out there on social media, I said social media like I'm a boomer newscaster explaining a new fad. Let us know. Post, Skeet, or whatever they do on Blue Sky, your answer. And then if you're watching here on YouTube, please comment down below. Yes, engagement farming. Please comment down below. What's your bet on ET showing up? Regardless, though, Jen, I think we can agree that Skeleton Crew, a lot of people are looking to it as a place of Star Wars fun.
Mm-hmm. Much needed fun right now.
Much needed Star Wars fun. We'll get to the serious, gritty, political Andor in 2025, where we're going to need it. All right, that's our first question. We got another question on the way. Stick around, more Star Wars questions here on ForceCenter. Welcome back to ForceCenter. It is I, Ken, that is Jen, and our virtual studio here as we answer a second question. Jen, this is from our resident professor, Addie Clark. You know Addie's a professor, right?
Yes. What is she a professor? What are they a professor of?
Smart things.
Smart things?
I don't
Smart things.
Quite. She's explained it many times on my show, The Blathering, and I just have to nod because I just know she's smarter than me.
Okay.
And she's doing work that I wouldn't be qualified to do. So here we go. Addie writes this. Hello there, ForceCenter. I'm currently knee-deep in a Kenobi rewatch, and it has me thinking, what is the weirdest or most unlikely to actually get made Star Wars project you desperately want? While you think, I'll share mine with a little explanation. 1, live-action Sabe show, which takes place mostly in the 19-year gap, of course, between episode 3 and 4. Maybe some prequel-era flashbacks. Why? I'm likely never getting Padme in live-action again, but this is the next best thing. You could get Keira Knightley so that she'd remember being in this time, or Natalie Portman to play her, and I think some of the things Sabe got up to from the E.K. Johnston novels and the comics could make for great storytelling. Plus, it gives an opportunity to bring in other live-action cameos like Hayden or Ewan or even Vivian Lyra-Blair as Leia, while still having some freedom of storytelling because we're not weighted down by knowing Obi-Wan can't die before A New Hope. 2, The Adventures of Baru White Star, or White Sun, actually, I believe, right? Also, I read that wrong. Also, live action. Why? First of all, I want Bonnie P.S. to have all the best life these days. She deserves it. I'll say that as Ken, if you watch that doc or know anything about the NXIVM doc. She also did amazing work with her limited Kenobi screen time. Between that, some of what E.K. Johnston and others have explored via publishing, I want to see her helping free the slaves on Tatooine. I want to see more farm life adventures. Give it all to me. Those are my two. They'll never happen, but a girl can dream. Can't wait to hear yours. Addie, great stuff as always. Just before we get to the answers there, Jen, I think those are two wonderful ideas. And again, the question is weird or just things that just won't likely get made. The Adventures of Aunt Beru, probably not going to be made. But Bonnie P.S. Coming back and in a limited amount of scenes, let's be honest. Yeah. She didn't get a ton to do in the series. She was impactful and made a lot of fans. And just, Owen, I'm grabbing the shotgun and we're going to fight. Paraphrasing, but love that moment. Love that scene.
They were so good. And it's one of those things where I had not been keeping up with her career. And obviously she's had some other things that have gone on. But sometimes when actors come back and they're a little rusty, no. Bonnie P.S. was fantastic as Beru with such these small moments, but boy, was she great. I would love that. Now I want this. And Keira Knightley, I'm such a huge Keira Knightley fan. I love everything she does. This would be fantastic. It will never happen.
It will never happen for complicated reasons. I think there's reasons Keira has always answered. I was in Star Wars. I don't remember that. Mm-hmm. She remembers. And I think we're in a position now for Natalie Portman to be open. She has said she'd be open to return. And with a bit of a regime change and a lot of people there at Lucasfilm who weren't there 20 years ago, I think the door would be open. And we, to be clear, as I stumble through hiding secrets,
I know.
Padme is without a doubt one of our favorite characters. I have Padme pins I wear. She's resolute. She's steadfast. She is a character. If we all had just listened to the woman in the corner, we'd be in a better spot. Mm-hmm. And I think George was addressing some of the real world issues there. So I would love this. And as a fan of Keira Knightley as well, and someone who could absolutely lead a story, and the character Sabe being brought back in E.K. Johnston's books showing up more in the comics, the Greg Pak Vader run. It's possible. It's possible. Mm-hmm. You got a person with star power. Keira Knightley's star power. I'm not getting into IMDb ratings, but it might not be what it was around Pirates, everything. But she's a known name. She's a known entity. It'd be really interesting, and you could get to Hayden. You could get all the things, and you could also have the Adventures of Beru. Aunt Beru would be Kenobi season 2.5 or 1.5 for me as well. So both good ideas. You're, what would have you? I know you haven't had as much time, Jen, as I to poke through the comics and some of the EK's books, which I'm a fan of EK's Padme books. Just Sabe or the Handmaidens, more of them. You as someone who was there in 1999, what do you think about that?
Yeah. You know what's interesting as you're talking about this? So Disney Plus, man, I'm always trying to find content for my kids to watch. I'm like, let's find a movie. Disney Plus has a lot, Disney specifically, have a lot of 24-minute movies. I would love for Star Wars to do more of to do, quite frankly, any of those, like shorter movies about, you could do it about Sabe. It'd be fantastic. I think that there's a real hardcore fan base. I know a lot of people in my circle that love The Handmaids, who love Padme, who love Sabe, and want more of that, right? Especially in live action. It's wonderful that there's books and comics and things like that, but there is nothing like the power of storytelling on screen. And I think that, I don't want to say that they're ignoring that, but boy, that would be great to have that, right?
This is almost an answer collectively here to Addie's question of what I think would actually happen or not. I love the Tales of series. Mm-hmm. It is some of Filoni's best work, and as someone who at times thinks, have some Man in the Cowboy Hat issues, I love those series. I rewatch those, and part of the reason I rewatch them, I think they're deep, they're poignant, they're insightful, and they're short.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you're on that treadmill, and you're not shooting for the 45 cardio day, you're shooting for the 20-minute cardio day.
Yes.
I think it works. And if you were to do a series of shorts with live action and there's always rumors of Sam Jackson. Number one, not rumor, wants to be back in as Mace. Excuse me, I'm hiccuping. I'm just feel sorry for Mace falling to his death because he's dead. But
Right.
he wants to come back, and maybe there's a way to bring him back, and maybe you could have him pop up in a series. But if he was part of a series of shorts, basically, I think a live action Tales of.
That'd be
I think
great.
Jen. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think this is a way you could get people like Keira Knightley to show back. You don't have to commit to a series. You don't have to commit to, like Diego Luna was saying, doing the Andor series was almost 10 years of my life.
Yeah, right.
You don't have to do that. Come in. We got a 15-minute live action short of Sabe.
Do it. Now, there's where the volume, I think, could really shine. That's where I'm like, okay, use the volume for this because I want more Star Wars content. I know that's a bad word, but I'm saying it anyway.
It is what it is. Yeah.
It is what it is. It's the reality.
I love that. I love that. So, Addie, your answers have inspired us. But in terms of my answers, there's some things over the years. This has been my last couple of weeks. I've been going back to like ForceCenter 2016, where I just want to talk about Ray Sloan or Enfys Nest or something like that. Enfys Nest and the Cloud Riders is just a Saturday morning cartoon idea for me, with serious thoughts behind it and obviously some importance to it and some profound storytelling to be found in the story of the burgeoning rebellion. And I've always thought, and I even wrote in my book Why We Love Star Wars, that Enfys Nest is the new face of the rebellion at this time. I think you can find a way. We talked last week about we'd love Enfys to show up in Skeleton Crew. I think that's unlikely, but I want it live action. I want Aaron Kellerman back, but make it animated because Enfys Nest and the Cloud Riders is the way. Have her voice it. I don't care. Somewhere to get more with this character is one of my thoughts. What are some of your answers?
My biggest thought, the only one that has dominated my mind since I first heard about it, was Guillermo del Toro's Jabba the Hutt movie. So it would have been a story about the rise and fall of Jabba the Hutt. They had a script written by David S. Goyer, who wrote Batman Begins.
I believe so, yeah.
Guillermo's team did concept art that was supposedly really, really cool, and they detailed kind of what the world would look like, what things were going to look like. And the reason why I really want it is because I love Jabba the Hutt, but I've never really been able to articulate why. Why have I loved this vile gangster?
Yeah.
He's 1983. Why? I can't articulate it, but I know that Guillermo del Toro's story would help me articulate why. Because he approaches monsters and stereotypically, bad people, bad characters, bad creatures, what do you want to say, with heart and really examines them. And often the monsters are the people around them, right?
Yeah.
Now, we know Jabba's not a good Hutt. We know how he... And we want his death to be justified and obviously spectacular. But I think that he could have... I really am sad that we never got this. I don't want to say it's dead, but I think it's dead.
It's dead. It's so funny. Like, maybe it's a day of sharing things I've heard over the years in a way I haven't on ForceCenter before. It's a new era here. Back when I was at Collider, Guillermo del Toro came in for interviews, and everyone met him and took pictures that one of the nicest human beings. Everything you read about him is true. Just one of the nicest, most thoughtful, wonderful, warm human beings you've ever been around, right? And that's not always the case, right? Like I've been around Adam Driver. We were told not to, but Adam wasn't an a-hole or a jerk, but you could just Adam's an intense man.
Yes.
And even in the Collider Studios, it was like don't ask him about Star Wars, and you knew you couldn't.
Right.
You couldn't. And I'm not saying that as he was a bad. I mean, I really respect him. He was there for a job to promote. He was intense. Guillermo was hanging out. He was holding court in the most wonderful, warm way. He told all of us in the room about his Jabba pitch.
He did?
Before it was really public. He just sat there and was like, oh yeah, I went to Lucasfilm with this Jabba film, and I wanted a gangster and the Tatooine, and it wasn't like he was giving details, to be clear. Right. But this wasn't completely out. This is 2016 range, where this was that era of is there a Boba Fett movie? Is there or not? And later on we got that confirmed that it was, but it wasn't, and all those things. And the news scoop game was was hot. Everyone had hot scoops, and we didn't run with it because we just respected the dude so much. He just told us, and his love for that character, but the world that character was in,
Right.
does make it to me a bit of a lost gem that could have been.
I believe so. He is an auteur, and getting his magic sprinkled or seeing his interpretation of Star Wars is just like we would have nothing like it. Nothing like it. Maybe that's part of it, right? Is that it would have been so distinct. I don't know. Who knows? As he said, he's like, he was, I don't want to say he was sad because he didn't articulate it like that, but he's like, you just have to accept it. He's like, it wasn't my money. It's not his franchise, right? It's not his story per se. So he had to respect that. But
and look, I think he's got even had about this stuff. Even hearing some of the behind the scenes stories of his Hobbit films, and I think as much as I love Peter Jackson and have come around to appreciate the Hobbit films more than I did when they first came out in the theaters, to be clear. But it was a little bit of another lost thing as well. But I think it was just reality, and he moved on in the best of ways. So I think you're right. He's not crying over there, but it's who knows. I don't want them to announce another movie.
No,
and it's a Guillermo del Toro movie. I also think, again, this was the era of, we have Rogue One. I think it was either coming out or out. I think I can't remember the exact times now, but Solo's on the way. That is not, love it or hate, those things didn't work. The Rogue One worked, Solo didn't in terms of box office. We're not getting a lot of Star Wars stories other than Andor Star Wars Story Season 2. So you're not going to get Jabba the Star Wars story or anything like that. But back then it would have been something special.
Yeah. So that's the only one that really I can't let it go. I can't let it go.
I don't think you should. I think let's keep hope alive. This episode's about hope, Jen. A couple other ideas. They're not new. I got to tell you, they're not new. I have talked about things in the past. I want a video game or even a series. I want it even in a documentary style of pod racing. I do not know why there's not a serious version of the pod racing games where you hire a driver, hire your team, and it's a franchise mode of pod. I wish I had the intelligence to design a video game and the means to do it. I would love that. But I don't think that's going to happen. I would absolutely. We've joked about it before, and again, I apologize to longtime ForceCenter listeners. This is not anything new, but I think it's a good time to renew the conversation. The Ballad of Bright Tree Village, the story of Chirpa either taking over, ascending to the throne of Bright Tree Village, needs to take it over something. And here's what I want: it all in Ewokese. I don't want any basic.
Whoa!
Don't want any basic unless you have like a human character that shows up. Just subtitles. Give me a 6-part miniseries, The Rise of Chief Chirpa. I've said it for years, and I stand by it.
I would love, because you said documentary, which got my brain spinning. I mean, Disney Plus owns Nat Geo. I would love like a not mockumentary, because I want it to be told seriously about
an in-canon doc.
Yeah, an in-canon doc about the rise of Chief Chirpa and like the culture, and like, so you have maybe a human there or a human narrating it, right? Somebody who speaks English, or any other human
Galactic Basic.
Okay, Galactic Basic, who speaks Galactic Basic, but then yes, we keep it so that it is all in Ewokese. I think that would be fantastic.
Look, over the years, and I think there was an episode, I can't remember if you were on, Jen, or not, but I think we've addressed it twice. Joseph and I have addressed the fact it's more him at this point. My writing career, I stopped a long time ago. Joseph is actively making a movie. We know people that have pitched. We know people that have made canon things. Like we're in LA, which is not where Hollywood is right now, but we're in LA. We always we have to be really careful about answering the what kind of shows would you want questions, because number one, we might have an idea that one day we want to get to a manager to get to Lucasfilm, or I have people that are actively, and I have people like this week actively pitching to Lucasfilm. So I'm always careful about that. But I also think, Jen, what you're pitching is like, you have Dominic Moynihan as Beaumont Ken from Rise of Skywalker, an in-universe historian. Why not like a travel show with Beaumont Ken? Just go, shoot it, Go to up to Northern California and shoot like it's Endor again. Use the volume.
Love this. I'm sorry, my dog is barking, but I have
because
to
your dog's
chime in.
excited of this idea.
I mean, she's alive. But I'm like, is there a way that you and I could do this? And Joseph, could we do this on this channel somehow?
Let's figure this out. The final story, the final thing I will say, it comes up a lot. I think it's very realistic. I just don't think it's going to happen. I hope there's a Kenobi season 2. I don't think that's going to happen, but I hope so. We hope for that around here. But I've always, and I'm not alone. I'm so not alone in this. But give me Obi-Wan Kenobi, Duchess Satine, 1 year of love. Give us the tragic tale of young Obi-Wan and Satine on the run with older Qui-Gon, and that year that they fall in love, and the year that Kenobi comes close to leaving the Jedi Order. It's a tragic tale. And again, going back to a Jedi Council that we had a Star Wars author on, and she was saying, I have pitched this time and time again. They don't take it. Not meaning they don't want it, but that maybe they'd find another way to do it, or they want something else to do with it. This was a long time ago, to be clear. So I think it's an animated series would be great. Would you want James Arnold Taylor and Anna Graves to do their voices a little younger? Could you make that happen with technology? Maybe. I don't know. Cast it with someone else. I don't know. But I would love to have. They love those characters, James Arnold Taylor and Anna Graves. Just really, they're friends too. And really, there's a connection there. The Satine and Kenobi story. I just think I still want it. And it's still one of those things that hangs over of like, what the hell happened here between Space Romeo and Juliet?
Yeah.
Kind of. It's not directly that story, but you know what I mean?
Oh, I love that. Can they make Star Wars Visions, but a Star Wars love story where you have, or even like tales of the Star Wars lovers? Like,
there you go. That's it.
Episode.
Just make it a romance novel, like a sweeping, tragic Star Wars love story. I'm all in on it. And we have a lot of characters. I know a lot of people, Claudia Gray's first novel, Lost Stars. You got some built-in stuff. I'd love to see those characters continue. Senator Ray, Think IRL. People have wanted that for almost a decade now. That'd be great. There's a lot of stories. But I just think these are... And you know what? Call it... Make the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. You and McGregor would probably hate this because we probably couldn't cast him, even with de-aging. But hell, I don't care. Do it. Could you imagine, like, we have Kenobi kind of becomes an anthology series, and we get to go back? We could go back. Cast Liam Neeson's son. I don't know exactly what he looks like, but he sounds exactly like his father from the Tales of the Jedi stuff. Cast him as young Qui-Gon.
Oh,
let's do this.
There you go. These are really good ideas.
All right.
Green light all of them.
I'm calling up the people I know here right now. Michael.
Get your producer credit. Story by.
Okay, let's do it. And let's get it. Let's do it. All right. We had fun. Addie, great question. Robert, great question. We love answering these things, having a little fun in the Star Wars universe. Any final thoughts, Jen, as we wrap here?
There's so many Star Wars stories to tell. It's encouraging, actually. It's encouraging. Who knows what will happen next.
This is why I don't mean to get grumpy at the end, but when some people are like, rehash and old characters and I get the complaint. I actually get the complaint and understand more than get it, understand it and go, yeah, I know, there's some truth in that, and that might be felt generally. But I think the galaxy is so big. I do want completely new things with characters I've never met. But I also think there's eras of these characters' lives to explore that would be worthwhile. So that's some of our thoughts here. All right, that's it. We've answered the questions, Jen.
Yes, we have.
We're out. You can find us on social media at ForceCenter Pod. Like I said, Blue Sky is erupting. Over 700,000 new users this past week or so. You can find us there at forcecenterpod.bsky.social. I know it's a little difficult. I got it. Just search ForceCenter. You'll find us if you're on Blue Sky. We're on Instagram, YouTube as well. Subscribe, like the video here as well. Like I said, leave a fun comment about your thoughts on Yoda or a TV show or a project you want. Facebook page is ForceCenter Podcast. We are available as a podcast in a lot of spots. Just search and find us. Merch available at tpublic.com/user/ForceCenter, or you can go to our Fourth Wall Shop, link down below on YouTube, patreon.com/ForceCenter. You can support us directly. Follow me at Napzok or my website, catnapzok.com. You get updated information on comedy shows, my radio show, Pop Rockin' Radio, and more. Jen, where can they find and follow you?
You can find me on Blue Sky. I don't know exactly. I'm Jennifer Landa. I'm also Jennifer Landa on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. I'm Jennifer Landa 1138.
There you go. That's it. We'll see you next time here on ForceCenter.